Go on. Go on, soft lad. How do? Back on the old cheeky little vlog today, bonus vlog. Lee Armstrong. You're going to hear this more than more, and this sort of thing I'm going to keep reporting on. You know, I can only do my bit, like my nan says. There's a chapter in my new book, quick plug there. It's not actually. Strangeways Unlocked. The reason that chapter's in there because I feel quite strongly about this sentence, the IPP sentence. I'm going to call the IPP sentence a life sentence. I know it's a life sentence because I've met a couple of lads who took their own life in prison. No light at the end of the tunnel. So Lee Armstrong from Hull. This article is very recent. This is a lad, I would call him me, you know, juvenile delinquent maybe. Petty crime as a youngster. 3 strikes and out. His third offence, he robbed a phone of somebody in a pub. He went to court and he got an IPP sentence, yeah? 4 years, I think it was. His mum thought he'd be out in 2 years. You know, 4-year sentence, do off, 2 years on licence. So people understand what a licence about. If you get a 4-year sentence, you're out on 2. In effect, within that 2 years that you're out, if you commit another crime, breach your probation, go back to prison, you can finish that. So potentially could get out, breach quite quick, so you actually serve 4 years of your 4 years. The IPP sentence, yeah. So this lad's done 18 years inside. Third offence, petty crime, juvenile delinquent, I'm going to call him when he was younger. His daughter, when he got locked up, was a young child. She's now 21. The people involved in parole boards for these prisoners, yeah, psychologists, probation, people whose care they're in, that's prison staff and the like. I've sat on a parole board for an IPP prisoner, and the slightest blemish on your record, you can get knocked back for another 12 months. So imagine, if you will, you've pinched a mobile phone, you sat in prison, you know, 18 years later. How are you going to feel mentally? Yeah? You're not killed, you're not raped, but you're on a life sentence. So this lad, he's sent or released to a pipe hostel. Pipe, I don't know what the acronym stands for. Pinned comment is the article relating to this. Before I continue, 2 lads I know, they weren't IPP, but they were released to a hostel. The whole thing about probation hospitals, supported places like this pipe thing for me, is that, again, you know, you've got out, you're placed in this place, the slightest thing, you do the slightest thing wrong, not commit crime, they're going to send you back to prison. So the 2 lads I'm on about were about 60 miles from Manchester, there or thereabouts. They were both sent there pretty much together. They knew each other. This hostel they were sent to was well known, yeah? It was a nonce hostel. Few people don't like me using that word. Nonce, acronym, not on normal court exercise, sex offender, paedophile, rapist, yeah? Believe it or not, these people are housed together. And these lads were put in this hostel. 2 things about this. Anybody who's got anything about them, anyone's got anything to do with kids, anyone's got kids, being around these sort of people would be challenging. Imagine you've got a hostel on your front door and you know the sort of clientele that are in there. The other thing is, yeah, everyone knows what these hostels are about, they're infamous. So you put a lad in there, he don't have to be in for a charge, but shit sticks. So you put someone in a hostel like that, who might be, you know, violence or something like that, people are going to remember it, they're going to start thinking. So these two lads were putting it 60 mile away from home. Here's another thing about probation and the whole system. Yeah, people are always very good at telling you why they do things. Yeah, for me, anybody coming out of prison, the best chance they have of settling down, keeping on the straight and narrow, yeah, not breaching, is with a loved one. If someone's got a missus and kids, send them home to the missus and kids. Tag them if you have to, put them on a curfew. More chance of being at home, being looked after, being loved, parents, you know, whatever. The amount of people who've done sentences and are sent to hostels when they could be at home being looked after. Again, you know, probation service and that. They'll tell you why you can't do that or why that's risky or whatever. I'm not interested. That's the best place for them to be. So this lad, oh, incidentally, them two lads, pointing the story, yeah, one of them had some pictures stolen of one of his kids by someone in that hostel. You can imagine the sort of person he was. He lost it, filled him in. Yeah, he got breached, sent back to prison. The other lad managed to get a move. As he says, I was at the same point of him. If I'd have stayed there another week, I was going to fill someone in. There's sickening people, sickening individuals. That's what it is. So this lad, Lee Armstrong from Hull, yeah, this pipe hostel full of lifers. These hostels are designed for lifers. You know, they've got support, maybe psychological support and everything else. He is in there because he is on a sentence that is cruel, it's torturous. You know, it was abolished with good reason. It was misused by judges and the legal system. You know, oh, new sentence, let's dish it out willy-nilly. 18 years. Third minor offence, taking a mobile phone. In this hostel, sex offenders, beasts, rapists, nonsense, whatever you want to call them. Yeah? His missus drove him to a police station. He handed himself in. He hadn't breached, he hadn't committed a crime. Yeah? And asked to go back to prison rather than live in a community with these people. Hostel designed for lifers. Lifer by the sentence, not by his crime. Absolutely criminal. Horrendous. Now I'm going to talk about a lad. You see, in you know, the last 2 or 3 years, people who've been inside for terror and other things have been let out. IPP sentence. That's what it should be used for, these sort of people, to monitor them, not supervise them, probation supervising. That's just having meetings with people. That's all it is. It's not supervising. You're not out in the community. They're not being monitored. You're just having a meeting with them. It's called supervising. And if you say or do something they don't like, bump, you go back to prison. A lot of people have been released who've got out and murdered, committed more acts of terror and worse. Peter Fox. Peter Fox was a lad who I knew, my manager knew, Bradders, other people knew. He would carry out his actions. He came to us on healthcare at Strangeways 3 or 4 times because of his behaviour in the prison. He originally came from Liverpool Seg, very disruptive prisoner. Dangerous. Every time he come on healthcare, language, threats of violence, threats to stab people, threats to stab nurses. Yeah, he was a dangerous one. All over the prison, in the Seg, barricading, smashing things up, very, very disruptive. What did I know he was going to do? What did my manager Bradders know he was going to do? Kill his mother, he told us. I filled numerous paperwork in. I'm sure other people did within the prison. Police liaison, I spoke to police liaison, who is somebody who works for his police officer, works within the prison, obviously works with security, looking at issues. Yeah, well documented. This lad's going to kill his mother. Coming up to the end of his sentence, he's getting out, he's not an IPP, he's not on any particular terms or conditions, so he's getting released. Let's go down this way, Stephen. Come on, kidder. Just getting a bit windy up there, guys. So I did what I did, my manager did, police liaison did, yeah? But he got released. Now, he was subject to a mental health assessment, I'm sure, when he was on healthcare. You know, we had psychiatrists coming from Ashworth High Security Hospital, High Security Mental Hospital. They're sort of subcontracted, as it were, in a partnership. Yeah, clearly something wrong with this lad. I believe at his trial, it was deemed he was schizophrenic or whatever. For me, very violent, very dangerous. And he got out and he killed his mum and sister. Absolute tragedy, yeah? The system is proper screwed, pun intended. It doesn't work. You've got these lads and lasses on IPPs doing life sentences for petty crime. For me, everyone should be up in arms. If you've got any understanding, any humanity whatsoever, yeah, you work in probation, psychology, prison staff or whatever, everyone should be united in getting these people out of prison. It's not happening, nobody cares. There's a march this month, hopefully I'm gonna get down there. Parting shot as it's hailing up on the pits. How we doing, kid? Hey? Sit down then. Good lad. Hope you're having the best weekend possible. Shout out to Mike Clark in Oz and Bernice Dooley in Canada. Hull City, guys. Cheers. Thanks for coming.